Mauricio Mejia Live. Entertainment guru, Silicon Valley entrepreneur, author, and speaker. It's Mauricio Mejia Live. Bringing to you real people, real day-to-day life experiences, and real business opportunities. If you dare to step up. Do you have what it takes to take it to the next level and become who you are truly destined to become? Decide, commit, execute. Join the thousands of viewers around the world and become a part of the conversation. Mauricio Mejia Live.
Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It is that time again. It is Mauricio Mejia Live, broadcasting from the heart of Silicon Valley, downtown San Jose. Mauricio Mejia Live, season number 2, episode number 13. And I got to say, man, today has just been an amazing day, and I'm just blessed that we're here and that we're got a new studio background here. If you don't notice, we changed it up, flipped it up, got a whole new setup. We're getting ready for our upgrade here. So again, want to remind everyone, Mauricio Mejia Live. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, broadcasting around the world on 4 different platforms, 3 different platforms, 4 different channels. We're broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, and now we just added Twitch. So super excited to just be reaching out to a whole mass of people around the world. So thank you very much for all the support. Again, we are live here in downtown San Jose, heart of Silicon Valley. In our brand new studio today. So I'm very excited about that. So please make sure to jump in on the comments. I'll be doing my best to interact, catch everyone's comments, and so forth. So again, very excited. So far this season, we've had a lot of different business entrepreneurs. We've had some real estate moguls. We've had some political leaders, some stock advisors, some crypto advisors, some fitness and entertainment gurus. And every week we just try to keep it fresh and exciting for you guys. So but before we jump into it, I like to do a little thing that we call Hot Topics every week. So this week's this week's hot topic. It's it's one of those things. It's just you want to be happy because we know that this person is in a better place, but at the same time we want to feel and give our compassion and our love. Rest in peace, Shock G of Digital Underground. I had the opportunity to meet him many times during different events and concerts and promotions that I put together during my entertainment career, and it was heavy on my heart to know not only have we gone through or have dealt with the DMX passing, another legend in our industry, but Shock G, another legend in the industry that paved the way for a lot of the artists that are now experiencing their successes in today's world. So with that said, though, I wanted to bring a special guest, my producer, actually, Alex Mejia, on board to share some of the experiences of Shock G. So let me bring up my boy, Alex Mejia. Alex Mejia, what's up, my brother? How are you?
Good afternoon. How you feeling, my brother?
Good, man. Good. I got to keep my spirits up, keep the energy flowing and all that good stuff. Aside from, what we've been dealing it just seems like it's just one thing after another, First it was DMX. Now it's Shock G, my brother. So I thought today would be it would be good, a good way to honor him by sharing some of his legacy and his history in the music industry. And when we talk today, and again, Alex, thank you so much, man. You've always been a great mentor of mine. We're family, and it just we always want to take the show to the next level. So I thought, what a great opportunity to bring you on the show, try something different as well, and share some of the history of Shock G, because I know you being in the industry for all the years that you have in the music and the radio industry specifically, you got to see and witness a lot of great artists come through you. And I know you probably had you cross paths with the guest that I have this evening as well. So let's talk about Shock G, man, please.
Well, once again, thank you for having me on Mauricio Mejia Live. I appreciate that. And also hello to all your audience out there in Bay Area, bloodline there. God bless everybody. Here we have lost a pioneer, an innovator, of music who took hip hop to another level early in the 90s. Actually, they started back in the late 80s and had an independent record called Your Life's a Cartoon and Underwater Rhymes. And I remember him walking through the halls of KMEL with his manager, Adrian Gregory, and pushing his own record. He was highly involved. This was an artist and pioneer that truly sacrificed himself to make his music. He was someone that, you talk about this all the time. Sometimes you really just have to dig deep to really go for it. Yeah. And he dug as deep as he could because he had what it took. He had the skills, the musicianship, the quality of workmanship and dedication to hip hop, and he was an activist. So before he started with Digital Underground, he was an activist with his rhymes, and then he's flipped it. And I mean, you have to give him a lot of respect because a lot of artists wouldn't do that. Yeah. He just decided, I'm going to go into a character as well, and we're going to develop a new funky dance. Mm-hmm. And he brought positive energy to hip hop. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, obviously I was a kid growing up, man. And to experience the music and the culture and just the vibe growing up, and just to feel that energy that Shock G, Digital Underground, and then all the other artists that came along. I mean, we're talking about Tupac too. I mean, Tupac was part of the clique too.
Yeah. But before we go to Tupac, the innovator, the creator of the whole sound was Shock G, and with Money B and DJ Fuse and Chopmaster J and Smooth, this was a full band. When they decided to become Funketeers in hip hop, they brought before the Roots, before everyone was doing it, they were doing it just as strong as anybody else. They could handle. They had the chops, the know-how, and the dedication, and they knew all the right samples to use. Yeah. And when you went to go see a Digital Underground party, ladies and gentlemen, it was like a festival. It was madness. And you couldn't believe it. It was sex, drugs, rock and roll, hip hop, and jazz, and love all together in one when you seen the Digital Underground show.
I just remember junior high and high school for me, man. I remember the first place when I was promoting clubs, and I snuck into the first club I snuck into, or not even snuck on. I walked in with the promoters, man, was the Red Onions in West Covina, man. And we're going to talk about that tonight. I mean, there was a lot of great memories there, but I saw them performing live there, and then in many other shows. And then when I got the opportunity to move to the Bay Area and I did shows, it was just an honor to have such great talent and great people around, to perform. So, man, it's been an honor.
And I'm going to tell you, Shock G was just more than just a talent. Him being an innovator, he literally shifted the way music went for a full 5 or 6 years. It just changed because of the funk, because of the realism that he put into it. Yeah. And any of your listeners out there that may not have ever fallen in love with hip hop or still figuring it out or just young to it, listen to the album Sex Packets. From beginning to end. It's a masterpiece. Yeah. It's just as strong as Songs in the Key of Life. It's just as strong as Purple Rain. It's just as strong as It Takes a Nation of Millions. That album is perfection from beginning to end, and it came from the Bay Area. Hello.
There you go. Bay Area representing, man. Bay Area representing, man. That's off the hook. And I know you had a lot to do with a lot of great artists that got exposed here in the Bay Area, and not only through the Bay Area, but got exposed eventually worldwide through radio and through the networks of people that you worked. And I know again, you had some stuff that you worked with the guests I'm gonna have tonight.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I wish I had an opportunity to work with the great Mellow Man Ace, like Shock G. I mean, it would have been dope if we would have had him on some of the remixes that I had a chance to work on, but I didn't. But I'm gonna tell you, the guest you have on today is on fire. I love that. Oh my God, he has lit many dance floors.
Yeah.
But real quick, let's get back to Shock G for a second. So here you have an artist,
yes,
that is a pioneer, and then the beautiful thing about Digital Underground is they brought everyone together, East, West, South, and they made it music fun again. Nothing was wrong with the way the music was. Hip hop had many different faces to it, but that was one side that the innovation. Hip hop was young in the Bay Area. There was Hammer. There was In Vogue. You know, they were just really coming out into the scene, and New York embraced it. And Tommy Boy Records was lucky enough to sign such a phenomenal group. And then they did movies. So, and then they always gave back to the Bay Area. They would come back and do something special. And I'm going to tell you, I had a chance to work with Shock G personally in the studio twice.
Nice.
And I had a chance to see his workmanship and his penmanship and everything he does. And then when you're in the studio, you know how it is when the lights are off and everything's going, you know, you're showing your inner self. You're showing your imperfections. And sometimes those imperfections are recorded, but the ones that you're really just trying to figure out a song lyric to see it, there's a lot of imperfections in that process, but it's beautiful. And I had a chance to work with him on one song called It's Time for Peace with Sway and King Tech in Paris. I highly recommend you guys seek that record out. It speaks about poverty, war, not enough diversity in today's community. And unfortunately, the record 30 years later still is remaining to be said today.
Crazy times, man. Crazy times. Well,
the second one was I Got Five on It, the remix.
There you go. There you go. I wish we had a little bit more time so we can hear a little bit of samples back there. But again, I wanted to share some of the history of Shock G, and I know that you definitely have a lot of history in music, and then just the different avenues that it's went down, man. So I just wanted to thank you again for taking the time, man, and sharing this moment. And we're gonna give a moment of silence for Shock G, and rest in peace. I know his funeral is coming up this weekend. Unfortunately it's in the East Coast, and it's in Tampa where he was living, and we send a bunch of prayers and love, and we want to just keep music alive, and we're going to keep it alive by playing his music. So Alex Mejia, my brother, family, thank you for being here with me on Hot Topics. Mauricio Mejia Live every Wednesday. I'll follow up with you later on, my brother.
You're doing okay so far, Mauricio. You do. I kind of like the set is looking kind of nice. It's all right up in here.
You're liking my new studio, man. We'll catch up, my brother. I love you. Love you, fam. All right.
Peace out, everybody.
All right, my brother. All right. With all that said, again, Shock G, may you rest in peace, and you are in a much better place now, in a happier place, and we'll see you in the afterlife, my brother. So we're going to move right along. I'm very excited about this evening. Again, this has been in the works, and to be able to share the airwaves, all the waves around, through all these different platforms. It's very exciting, and it's my honor to have Mellow Man Ace tonight as our special guest. But before I bring him up, I want to share a little bit of background on him. An Afro-Cuban Latino born in Cuba, Mellow Man Ace focused on lovers rap. And we're going to talk about and find out what is lovers rap, because back then the terminology lovers rap and what today is, we're going to find out the transition. Also, it was crossed with a blend of urban hip hop and occasional bilingual delivery, aka Spanglish. So for those of you that don't know, we kicked off. Spanglish became a big thing in the early 90s. So very excited about that. He was born in Cuba and left at the age of 4 and settled in the city of Los Angeles, where I grew up in Los Angeles. And I had the pleasure right before the show to do a little sound checks, stage check, which, by the way, I hope everyone down in Southern California is safe. Apparently there was an earthquake in San Diego, knocked off some power down in SoCal. So we're going to be broadcasting. Well, you'll see. I'm not going to give it all away. Going back, his debut album, Escape from Havana, was released in 1998. Now, I'm not going to date myself, but I was in junior high, junior high, middle school, and was going to a teen club back in the day called Maryland's Backstreet in Pasadena. And that track was the shit. So I remember it was our way of kind of telling the girl that we were dating that we knew that she was playing games, and it was just fun and games, man. The track is a hit. If you haven't heard it, look it up on YouTube, or Mellow's going to share where we can download. You can probably find it on iTunes, Apple. Make sure to download the track. He was the first Latino artist to have a bilingual single. That was also on Billboard's Hot 100 charts, so that's big. He has been called the godfather of Latin hip hop. So without further delay, it's my pleasure and honor to have this evening Mellow Man Ace. Mellow, what's up, my brother? How are you?
Awesome, man. Just checking out your show, man, and that homage to Shock G was amazing.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. And we're gonna the show must go on. We said earlier, literally hour before the show, there's no power where you're at down in Southern California, and you shared with me that apparently there was an earthquake down there, man. So I hope people are safe down there. I haven't heard anything on the news yet. Well, I've been busy in the studio, my brother, so I haven't had a chance. So prayers are out there for everyone out there. I hope everyone is safe during these times, and thank you for making the time to be here on the show. And I'm looking forward to having a very amazing conversation with you this afternoon.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm live and direct from my car. I had to drive to the next city over where the the Wi-Fi and everything is still up, just so we could do this. I don't think there were any casualties in San Diego, but it did jar some towers or whatever in my area all the way up here. We're 2.5 hours away from San Diego, where I live in the Pasadena area. And so with that said, here I am sitting in my car at the park.
Hey, man,
park. I'm not trying to be Big Willie or none of that type of shit, people. It's just what happened. And so if not, I'd be at the house doing it.
And by the way, man, I have to say, first thing I noticed was the green shirt you had on with Monrovia / Duarte on it, and I was like, wait a minute, does that say Monrovia? And then you said like Monrovia Duarte. I was like, man, I went to Monrovia High. That was crazy. So you took me way back. So Monrovia High, Pasadena High, and Duarte was our rival in Monrovia. So that was crazy.
Who knew? Who knew? There's
So
a lot of ties there, and I'm sitting in Pasadena. So
man, I love it. So Mellow, is it cool? Mellow Man Ace. What do we go by, brother?
Yeah, Mellow's fine.
All right.
That's I've been Mellow for a long time.
So there's so much that my audience wants to hear from you. Let's take a walk down memory lane. Tell us where it all began.
Well, if you're talking about hip hop, then it began in 1979, I think, for me, when I first heard Sugar Hill Gang and, groups like Curtis Blow and guys like that. That made me start exploratory digging and finding out what this thing called hip hop thing was, And then by 1981, I heard a record by the name of Disco Dream by a group called the Mean Machine on Sugar Hill Records. And toward the end of the record, they let one rapper rap in Spanish completely. So it was a verse of Spanish toward the end. And I said to myself that day, when I grow up, I want to be like that guy. And so as I started developing my style and honing my skills where I grew up at in Southgate, battling in the parks and battling in high school dances and backyard parties and stuff like that, I would rap in Spanish. And then, so we caught a lot of rec and we got a lot of respect on the street, my brother and I, with the Spanish rap. But then what happened to that group was they had to dissolve because they got into an issue with the record company. So fast forward 6 years, 7 years, Still, nobody's picked up the torch professionally from that guy. Mr. Schick was his name. When I got discovered by Delicious Vinyl,
Yes.
I wrote an all Spanish rap that I had been kicking in the Cuban club scene and in the Whittier area and all these areas out here, Bell Gardens, Bell, Linwood, Huntington Park, up into Whittier, Pico Rivera, and all that. And
Huntington
so that
Park.
was,
Don't forget.
yeah, I said that, yeah,
Okay.
Huntington Park, all that, and so that was the first single in 1987. It was an all Spanish rap on one side, it was supposed to be like a translation of that in English on the other side, but it wasn't a full translation. And then from there in 1988, I got my contract bought out from Delicious Vinyl by Capitol Records, and we were able to start creating what's now known the Spanglish rap style that I created for that song Mentirosa. So that's where it really all launches off at and takes off for me. And I think, I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride of a career, and one that I refuse to get off of, man.
Oh, one of my mentors said to me, I've been in the nightclub industry and I got to share with you some of my stories behind scenes. Since I was 15 years old, I started promoting for big promoters down in Southern California. I got introduced to the scene by one of my boys, Martin Rojas, who it's. I tell that guy, I said, man, next time I see you, I'm going to slap you, brother, because, you put me on this roller coaster ride. But I'm going to slap you because I love you, because I love you so much, because the way that I was introduced, it was VIP all the way from the beginning, and I got and from the first nightclub, the first 18 and over, which was the Red Onions that I got to experience. I gotta say, I'm gonna bring this one up, man. This is just, it gives me chills still, that to walk into a VIP room. We rolled up in a Lamborghini Countach. I'm this 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid, rolling up Red Onions, velvet ropes, VIP. They clip the velvet ropes open. There's 1,018 and over on one line. There's 1,020. There's 1,021 and over trying to come in. And Mellow, I got to tell you, man, I walked in and the vibe and the energy that was jumping. And I have to say, this is going to take it to the next level. We're going to connect dots here. The DJ in the main room at the Red Onions was your brother Sendog from Cypress Hill, my brother. So crazy to know that he was DJing in there, and then in the other room was the DJ of Naughty by Nature. So it was just crazy to just see all the and then to hear your song being played during that era. It was just like, damn. And then to do a full circle now, to hear all this, man, just come back, and just crazy stuff, man. Just crazy to see. And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, your brother is Sendog, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sendog of Cypress Hill, yeah.
Of Cypress Hill. So, for me, it was just, so music seems to be in your blood. It's in your background. It's in you. So you seem to have had some influences as well from others in your circle. So it's been over 30 years since Mentirosa, and who would think that today it has become such a classic anthem, because you could still play that in the club and the crowd would just go bananas. I mean, that song, it still gives you the chills. It still gives you, because you can flow with it. I mean, it's like a timeless piece. It's like a Rolex, my brother. It's just timeless,
Word.
It's the truth, man. You come in and you bust that song, and even whether it's remix, I mean, I've heard so many different versions. I've heard other great songs that were on your album, but you remix that one too and put some little house vibes behind it, and boom, that you can play it in the house club too.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
So with time that has gone by, I mean, what's the plan? I mean, you've been a pioneer of Latino hip hop in the industry. I mean, what are some of the other things that are in the works?
Well, I mean, I would just say it's hip hop in general, man. I wasn't the one that gave it that whole Latin moniker. Actually, it was a guy by the name of Soren Baker, who worked for Double XL and the Source magazine. He started when we were doing a press day at Capitol Records one year. to we were launching the second album, The Brother with Two Tongues. And we had a press day. Now this is where it's like a job, man. You're there for 8 hours and they have all the press lined up and everybody has 45 minutes to an hour with you. We're talking about the LA Times to La Opinión newspaper in Spanish to, you know, the Source magazine, Double XL, Black Beat, all these magazines that were around back then, all the tabloids. So I'm going through the day, and right before lunch, it's Soren Baker who comes in. At the time, he was with either Double XL or he might have been at the Source already. And he says, he opens up his interview by saying, "Wow, so now you're the king, you're the godfather of Latin hip hop. How does that feel?" And I'm like, yo, you know, everybody, you know, looking for a niche in this business, you have to, a niche is very important. So he gave me that niche, and an Einstein light went on with that. And I began to run with that moniker. And that's how that came about, you know what I'm saying? And just golden moments in time and fragments that are unforgettable.
Yes.
And help to, you know, be the soundtrack to people's certain summers and things like that, you know what I mean? It's been a magical ride, even the downsides, even my ugly days, you know. I wouldn't trade anything that's happened. I might, you know, I might want to change a day or two, you know what I mean? But overall, even with the drug use that I went through and everything, and that stage of my career, I wouldn't change a thing, man. No regrets.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, being in the entertainment industry, it comes with a lot of different things. I mean, it's a lifestyle, sex, drugs,
Yeah,
rock and roll.
absolutely. I'm no stranger to it.
It's being in that industry. It's again, it's I did it for 25 years. I mean, I dominated the industry starting from a kid. I got to move to the Bay Area, dominated. I actually was given there was a godfather here in the Bay Area of nightlife, and I was blessed to become his mentor. So I was the underboss or the junior godfather.
So he mentored you.
He mentored me, and
Right.
and then allowed me to then take on the torch. To this day, I love this human being, Harry Evans. He's 82 years old, and
Wow.
he's still Mauricio. We need to go open up another nightclub because we made so much money together.
Yeah.
And to this day, I've been given the title Godfather of the Bay Area, or Godfather of the South Bay of the nightclub industry. And you know,
Righteous.
I got some of the people that are out there watching. They're probably gonna be like, well, we can beg to differ, but you know, hey, I look at it as it's all based in numbers, and numbers don't lie. And then longevity. I did it for 25 years and got to enjoy and got to see a lot. I got to tell you, man, back then we didn't have the cell phones or the technology, but I know that there's a lot of pictures of all the celebrities that I got to take with, and I got to enjoy it. But one of the beautiful things and experiences that I got to have was the fact that I treated every artist like hey, what's up, man? Let's just take care of business and let's all have a good time. There was no like you know, obviously there was the fans that were out there and they took things to a whole different level, but it was always good times. And then going back to my mentor, and you said something earlier where you said about the roller coaster ride. My mentor said to me, he goes, Mauricio, there's two kinds of people in this world. He goes, there's the person that likes to go out and fish, and then there's the person that likes to go get on the roller coaster ride, and you have to decide which one are you. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm the guy that likes to get on the roller coaster ride and let's go have fun and let's roll with it. And he goes, all right. He goes, buckle up. He goes, enjoy the ride because it's going to be a fun one. I mean, 82 years old. He's twice my age. So imagine the roller coaster ride that I got to experience during those times, man. So a lot of good times, man. A lot of good times, and Totally feeling you, man, on that, and I appreciate you sharing the good and the bad that comes with nightlife, man. It just does.
Oh yeah.
But there's no regrets, man. There's no regrets. We got to roll with it, and like today, the show must go on, and the show will always go on. It's just how do we want to project ourselves as we continue this show as we move on and then go to the next part of our lives, right?
True indeed.
Yeah. Are you still working on music? I mean, I know that right now you have a son. Is it one son, or do you have a? I know that your son
I
right
have
now
two
is,
sons. My oldest son, and then my youngest. You're referring to my youngest son.
yeah, Kazal, or
Yeah.
Casal. And what I understood,
Kazal.
there you go.
We just call him around the house, yo, Kazal.
I'm sure he loves it. How he gets embarrassed. I know that. Well, from what we understand is that he's producing your music or has produced music. But I know you've shared that.
Oh yeah.
You're working on some music production right now. You want to share a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
I mean, look, first of all, we have a studio in the house.
Nice.
Okay. And so I can get up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and if I have an idea, I could track it. Not a problem. My son has produced a lot of the music for me over the last 8 years. So check that out on YouTube. You know, songs like Cali,
Okay.
songs like Divine Thoughts, Knowledge. There's so much stuff up there. And the sad part about it is that, you know, since it's not on your popular radio station, a lot of people are missing out on that body of work that is there that I have left behind. And some of it is like the song So Rough, So Tough is that my man Chuck D of Public Enemy got at me to do this project after one of the guys that have gotten killed by the police here, and we did this project. And so a lot of the stuff that I was working on with my son is that are those legacy bars, you know, those legacy joints that when I pass on and transfer my energy, much like Shock G, rest in peace, and DMX, rest in peace, and Ecstasy of Houdini, rest in peace, MF Doom, all these guys that have passed away recently. When that happens to me, that work is there, and you'll be
Yeah.
able to see that there was a different side of me that cared for social issues without being too preachy, but social issues that, you know, I was asked to get involved in and shed light on those matters and those issues that plague our Latino and Black communities on a daily
Yeah.
basis. So now with my son, we have stuff in the vault that is unreleased. They're just sitting there, and I refuse to put those out right now because I joined up with my man Condor of San Francisco, and he's making beats for me for this project, which is really like a super friends album because I have everybody on it, and we're going song by song. The first single was with the MC Magic called Summertime. The second single was called $1 with Money B of Digital Underground. And this next release will be out in about a week and a half. It's called No Joke with my man Rodney O. And so it's like a Super Friends Super Friends album. And I
Yeah.
have Candyman ready to go, you
Wow.
know, Kid Frost, Don Robinson of En Vogue, Second to None, Domino. The list is just so crazy. So we hope that we make at least one song that you like, and we're
Yeah.
dropping single and video, single and video. I prefer to do that because we've looked at the culture of what it is nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a record, a whole album, a body of work, right? It takes you about a year and a half, 2 years to make a record, right? A whole album, I should say. And you cut songs according to the overall topic of that particular body of work.
Yeah.
But when you put it out, the attention span of the fans has only been about a week, if that, after you
Mm.
put it out. because we both know that the market is oversaturated,
Yeah,
and and anybody with a laptop and a microphone can pretty much borrow, rent, or buy a beat from a low level, entry level producer, and become a rapper. Great. That's one thing that's good about the internet. However, there is an overpopulated game. It's like if every hamburger stand was a McDonald's, there would be no variation, right?
that's right.
So,
That's
um,
right. And that it makes
so
the
that's
game.
that's kind of where we're at. But I
Yeah.
give props to my man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. Go ahead, fan. I'm go ahead. I just wanted to add to your
No, go ahead.
so it just goes back to even in nightlife, there was always competition because of other clubs and then the restaurants got in the game, and then the little bars got in the game, and then the market got oversaturated, and then there's only a certain population of people that it's like a circuit. We only have there's only so much in that pool that you can pull from, and then it just really thins out, and it becomes it loses its luster. But then you get
Yes.
that one gem that comes out, or that one song, and I totally understand. I'm listening to what you're saying, and even the way you describe music, because they don't describe it that way these days. It's a body. You said it's a body of music, or it's a body. It's like
A body
the
of work.
body of work. And an album is a body of work, and you put a lot of
Hmm.
heart, soul, effort. I mean, you go through some of your darkest moments to create some of your greatest hits, and
Experiences, man.
that's
Experience. It takes time to accumulate those experiences for any one project. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then
and
for people to only care about it a week after the buildup, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's why we're doing singles and videos,
yes,
and eventually it'll lead up to an entire video album,
right,
if that makes sense.
absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, no doubt, it's your body of work now. Instead of it being 10 to 12 songs on an album, it's your body of work now has become smaller, more compressed, and there's more. You can put more energy, effort. And good friend of mine, Miles Kovac, Dub Magazine. You
It's my
gotta
guy.
know. You gotta know Miles. Miles,
Known him for 30 years.
I love Miles. We were just talking the other day, and Miles says to me he's a great mentor of mine too. He whoops my ass all the time into shape to stay in the game, stay hard on the game. And he says, time, money, energy, Mauricio. He says you got to focus it so that you can focus on one thing at a time, so that this thing can be the best at what it is. I have a lot of the great mentors are in my life, and what I hear is that common phrase, focus your time, your energy, and the money's always going to be. It's always the byproduct of hard work. And one of the things that you just said right now and you shared with our audience was all these great artists that you talked about, Rodney O and Joe Cooley. That's how I remember them.
Hmm.
Candyman. I mean, like, damn, that's those are some classic artists of the '90s, and then some crossed over to the 2000s. You guys pioneered the way for music for where it's at today. I mean,
Well, I mean, they do say that the 90s is the golden era of hip hop, and
that's
a
right.
lot of our records spawned that era. We kicked off that era,
Yeah.
in 1990, like Mentirosa and Kid Frost with La Raza and
Oh,
Candyman knocking the boots and Rodney O with You Don't Hear Me Though and all these other things. Who can forget En Vogue? You know what I mean? Like, come on,
yeah.
especially in the Bay Area, y'all know En Vogue. So
Well, I was in love with
yeah,
all
I
of them.
mean, yeah, I mean,
I was in love with all of them. I wanted them all. I was
yeah,
like,
these are
damn.
the people that I not only did I tour with, I became friends with.
Yeah.
And that's why this record is like a Super Friends album. Because the experiences of going to war, opening up for En Vogue, and opening up for Digital Underground at the height of everything, of all of our successes. I wasn't closing the show for En Vogue. I was opening up for Dawn and them. Also, when I toured with Shock G, rest in peace, and Digital, I was opening for them. their shows were much greater than mine. And so I'm just blessed to have been at the right time, at the right place at the right time, realistically, and be able to be so charismatic when I had my moment,
Yeah.
that I think it gave me that longevity. You know, the group Cameo, who I love a lot, had this song where they said, "Your shaky past gives you flash. That seems to be your style." Right? And that's sort of how my life is and has
Oh,
been. You know what I mean? Like, I came in and devastated and changed the way music was being made, and kind of reinvented the bread, if you will, with this bilingual style of rap. Nobody was doing that at that time. And then I fell out of love with fame very quickly and realized that it was a facade and a lot of bullshit, and
mm.
doors that you have to kick down that are not necessarily good for you to walk through. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
And I learned a very valuable lesson with that, and that is to never underestimate what the next man is thinking that he'll do for fame.
That's
You
right.
understand?
Absolutely.
I have
100%.
never been one. Oh no, of course, I have never been
100%.
one to be scared to go back home. You feel me? Like, if they made me do some scandalous shit or do something that I wasn't morally or ethically okay with, I was gonna shut it down and go back home. Like, I don't care. You're not gonna make me rap with somebody who I don't know or get along with for the sake of you want to make another popular hit record or whatever. That just doesn't make sense to my fan base. You know what I'm saying? And that's how come you hear a lot of artists, as the further they go along in the game, they start doing these weird collaborations, and they lose their core fan base because of it. They may gain a new fan base, or a more um suburban fan base, but they do lose that core, and I wasn't trying to lose that core. You feel me? So there's certain things that you have to draw the line on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As a man, if you have any kind of moral compass, these types of things come into play.
Yeah.
And I think when people don't know what, they just go like, "Oh, Mellow Man fell off." It's not so much. It's not even that, because I continued writing, and even had a hit with Cypress Hill, Lowrider, that I wrote the chorus for. So I'm not that guy either. I just didn't like not going to the supermarket and not being able to buy my groceries from the attention and things like that. I also didn't like the part where the record company wanted every song to sound like Mentirosa.
Mm-hmm.
So I also wasn't prepared for this, and this is very heavy. At the height of your career, of your fame, you're bringing home about 45 to almost 50, if you're lucky, percent of the money that you're making,
Yeah.
because you have your manager,
Mm-hmm.
15%, you got to give them. You got your agent, 10%. You got your accountant, another 10%. Your lawyer, 20%. And let's not forget our friends down at the IRS. That's
Yeah.
another 10%. So now you got family members coming out of the woodwork, and you want to make sure you take care of everybody. So no, everybody doesn't start talking shit about you at the family function, right?
Yeah.
So you think about it, I wasn't prepared for that, man, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
So what I did was I fired everybody, and
Mm.
I kept all of the money that was coming in, right? So then I fired my manager, and because I had been in the game so long, I knew the verbiage of how to talk to concert promoters,
Yeah.
and how to look, this is my rate. I need a room, and I need a fucking airplane flight. I can do that. So
Yes.
he's out of here.
Right.
So he's out of here. And I know how to count my money. I'm from Southgate. Give me a break. I know that 20 and 20 equals $40. So
Oh.
you're out of here. I'll count my own fucking money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so with all that in mind, it was like I was never scared to go back home if I had to. And for a short time I did have to go home and repair and restructure, I should say, restructure how I
Mm.
wanted to do things moving forward.
Mm. You hit a lot of similarities. I always say that in the entertainment industry. You're the artist, and I'm the promoter. I'm the guy that creates that facade, that smoke and mirrors, and
Yeah.
and that's what I titled my book. I published the book last year during COVID.
Nice.
And it was titled. And that's what I'm gonna. Like I said, I'm gonna be down in Southern California this Saturday, man. I'd love to meet up with you, even if it's just to hand deliver to you my book, Smoke and Mirrors, and it talks about the nightlife. It talks about I fell in love with the glitz,
with the fuck shit.
Yeah, I we shared by one of the first promoters that I really got to witness a lot of things was Cesar De Niro down in Southern California.
That's my guy. Absolutely.
Caesar ran the East LA market. I mean, and then there was a lot of us younger ones that got to offspring off of him. John Pena, Boss Entertainment, he's my family. Yes. I mean, there's Edgar and Ever Miranda of International. There was so many. There was the Louis Romo. There was boys from Brazil. There was all these party crews.
Boys from Brazil, absolutely.
So there was a lot of things that were happening during that time, and we run parallels because I remember Mellow Man. It was crazy, as if it happened to me yesterday. I remember it was October of 2008. This is when the economy was taking a shit in the world. We had just a global meltdown. It was the world was going upside down. And I remember standing at the bar, packed. My club was just jam packed. And I remember when I just resigned myself, when I fell out of love with the entertainment industry, when I looked at everything and I just said to myself, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
What was it that made you get that way?
It got to the point where it was gimme. It's a very giving. You have to give because it's customer service. To be on the top, you got to continue to give. And and there was no reciprocation. There was no. I kept pouring out fun entertainment. It was full on. What happens in the vault stays in the vault. That was the name of my Ultra Lounge. And we were the top place in Silicon Valley. I mean, I had the first 12 employees or the first 12 founders of Google that were partying in my place. I had a lot of great people that were just booming through my place. We were right out of after the .com era. So what I just really noticed is just that there was no pouring into me. There was my soul. I mean, I made my first million at 25. At 28, I was multimillionaire, right? I mean, you don't understand what it's like to have all this money and this. I didn't need the fame, but I was like a local celebrity. I was like, you want to go to the party? Call Mauricio. I mean, I used to have I used to count my minutes by months. It was like 6,000 plus minutes a month on my cell phone. I had the top cell phone plan. I mean, it was bananas. And for me, it was crazy. And then I remember the market, as the market shifted, it was still gimme. And I just kind of looked back and I was like, I was doing my pool parties. We had just launched Detox Sundays, which is a spinoff of Rehab out of Las Vegas. And just a lot of and it just hit me. It was like, I felt it in my chest, like just kind of left my spirit. And I was like, holy shit, like I'm not in love with this anymore. Like I got like me dio asco. I was like, wow, what am I doing here? Because I just felt so empty, even though I had the Ferrari, I had the Mercedes, I had the truck.
Look at you.
Hey, yeah. Oh, exactly. Like, look at me. Look, I put a target on, put the crosshairs over me, I had the baddest lounge in the Silicon Valley. I had the dopest,
and probably the baddest bitch with you too.
So I mean, it was just a little bit of everything across the board.
Yeah.
And then when the world started to teeter and I was falling, nobody knew the dark side, and I'm falling. I had no one to grasp on, because as I try to grasp, when I try to grasp onto them, it was there was like, you're Mauricio Mejia, bro. You're the fucking shit. What are you talking about? You don't
figure it out. Yeah,
you figure it out. You figure it out. I mean, I remember
where I was. Absolutely, yeah.
So you figure it out. You're Mauricio Mejia. You don't bro. You're successful. You're the man. You're like the facade was now who I was, and it was like, man. I'm like, and then finally, what I did was I fired everyone in my circle, the entourage, the nightlife. I divorced myself from it, and I went into literally into a tailspin. I had to, but it was almost like I couldn't go cold turkey. So 2009, I let go of the club. I'm still doing my pool parties because they're once a month instead of every week or every it was crazy. I was kind of trying to slowly to pull myself away, but I kept getting sucked in. And then finally, as I started to learn more about myself, I started to peel away those layers of like an onion. You keep peeling those layers until you finally get to the core. And then once you get to the core, then you're able to rebuild yourself. And
absolutely. When you get to that mirror, that last mirror in your smoke and mirrors, right?
Yes.
Get to that last mirror, and there you are.
Yes. So and that's truly what the experience was. So once I got to the core, I really realized who truly were my friends, who were the people that are really. I mean, I got to the point. I wrote it in my book, man. It's where I got home. I became homeless. I was, and nobody even believed it. That I was couch surfing, that I was, at times I would sleep in my car, man, because it was just, I didn't have, I had $40 in my pocket. And I was measuring my, at that point I lost everything. I didn't get rid of it. I lost everything. And I was driving my little Ford Focus, man. Nobody knew. I parked this shit down the street and I still roll up in my suit, looking sharp. Nobody knew I had holes. Hey, nobody knew I had holes on the bottom of my shoes. But they were shined up and I looked sharp when I walked in, and I still, I walked in with confidence. But those were just the ripple effects of it was
the
just
the
after effects of what I went through. And when I finally was able to rebuild myself and look at myself in the mirror and said, you know what, I'm done with this. It's time to rebuild. Man, I fortified myself. I rebuilt myself. And as I started to come back up, all those that were around me that didn't give me that helping hand on the way down, I thank you very much, man. I love you, my brother. I got to keep moving. I'll talk to you some other time. Move on, and then got to another level where, God's been a great blessing. The universe has been a blessing, and it was able to give me the inspiration and the experience to put all of it in a book. And now I'm working on putting a movie together as well. I want to put this into a script and then pitch it out. And then we have a friend, Damiano. I always chop up his name, who did introduction as well for us to be here. I know another good friend of mine, John Serrato, who did another introduction as well. But we're here, and you guys are working on a movie as well. There's a film you guys are working on, right? That's what I was told.
Well, it's more of
or documentary.
A documentary, that's been on hold since COVID. Man, when COVID first started, I mean, nobody knew if we were gonna just die by looking at each other and shit like that. So it got real funky and very weird, and we haven't picked up on it since then. But I'm sure that once everything gets cleared again, guys will feel safe about working. But it was a documentary about the significance and the significant contributions of Latinos in modern day culture. And it wasn't just about rap music or myself per se, or Cypress Hill or any one guy. It was about dating back. I mean, going back as far as, Desi Arnaz and the Lucy Show, and people like Celia Cruz, rest in peace, all these greats like Roberto Clemente and people like that. And leading up to, of course, the modern era where we're at. And we were having a lot of fun putting it together and doing the interviews and going places and doing what it takes to get a great product going. And then we got sidelined by the COVID-19.
Let me ask you, COVID-19, when you say sideline, do you see it as an opportunity, or as a something that cut you at the knees?
You know what? The first 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, um, the first 2 weeks were cool. It was like a vacation. Okay, sit down and rest. And then when they said you're going to be locked in again for another however many months it was, I said, oh hell no. And then it turned into a blessing because, let's face it, with the stimulus package and the EDD, for artists like myself, we couldn't work. And at the time I was on the old school circuit of concerts, like myself, Lisa, Stevie B, Salt and Pepper, whoever, Rob Bass, Trenier. We're doing these concerts with Bobby D and my man Alan Beck and stuff like that. So it's sit down time. So that right there, and then the creation of my wine company, and it turned out to be a blessing in the end. I made out well during COVID so far. I'll leave it at that.
And I'm glad to hear
investments and stuff like that. Yeah,
absolutely. So I have another mentor of mine, Stedman Graham. That's Oprah's other half there. A good friend of mine, a mentor of mine, and he said to me, he says, during this time, Mauricio, we're allowed to recalibrate ourselves, and this is where you have to really dig deep. And one of the things in our talks, because I've had the opportunity and the privilege to share the stage with him, and one of the key phrases is, in order to lead others, you must learn to lead yourself. And that was part of the onion peeling in my life, and getting to the core of myself was, I gotta, before I'm able to lead others, I gotta be able to learn to lead myself first. And that starts within. And then it goes even a level even deeper, where it says, in order to love others, you must learn to love yourself first. And that's really where I found myself, where I started to learn to love myself again and to appreciate that, man, I've been through a lot in life, just like many others. And we all have a story. And that's really what inspired me to share and put my thoughts into a book. And then and it took me 2 years to write that. And then finally I was able to publish. March 1st was the launch date. And then 2 weeks later, COVID hits. And I wasn't able to get that.
There goes the book tour.
There goes the book tour, right? There goes the book tour. And it was crazy because I had just finished my second book, which was Decide, Commit, Execute, which I call the entrepreneur's quick guide in business. Because what I did was, one is my personal life, and then the other one is the mindset of business. And you shared, there's a lot of things that you've shared in this conversation, and I hope a lot of people out there watching picked it up, because it's a mindset and it's a work ethic. And you said it, in the industry, it's a job, it's work. And when it's media day, it's not just, hey, come in, take some pictures, oh, what's up, blah, 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 drop a little sound bites. It's fucking, you got to work the media. Why? Because the media can make you or break you. And if you rub the media the wrong way, the headlines are, hey, Mauricio Mejia, jerk, blew us off, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, and now with social media, the news travels instantly. So it's just crazy. It's just it's crazy where we're going and how different times have changed, but it's inevitable. We are changing forever, and what we can do is bring back and create some of the highlights like what you're working on, and that's awesome, man. Whatever I can do and through my network, and you have an amazing network, by the way. I spoke with the group that's doing the grand opening in Riverside this week, and I shared with you Bumpbox. Bobby D is going to be there, your boy. So you might get the personal invite from him for that grand opening, man. But you have
I'll definitely be there. I'll definitely be there.
And I'm definitely we're gonna connect, man, and definitely I'm gonna hand deliver to you a book, signed book, autographed book, my brother.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's right. But you're able to take us back down memory lane, and you're able to share with us some of the great artists, and you're going to do this by highlighting them in these tracks. And then eventually, once you're done with that project, you can combine them all, and you can take another whack at the piñata by putting it together as a compilation. and selling the
Well, like I
the
said, it's gonna
yeah,
be a video album. We'll
yeah.
be able to play each song back to back via video on YouTube, and it'll be a complete album. And you'll be able to see everything lined up back to back to back to back to back to back.
It's amazing, man. You shared, and I'm going to be mindful of time here, man. You shared earlier, you didn't want to get preachy, but those are the things that I want to talk about, and I want to dig a little bit. The times right now that we're going through, um, it's not anything new. Now, you know this. I mean, we've been through as Latinos, as I don't use well. I'm not going to use the term that I'm going to address it, but it's a term that I don't like to use. But when they say people of color, I don't like it. We're either Latino, we're black, we're people, we're humans. We're not people of color is just so generic. But we are Latinos, we are people, and the shit that we've experienced and continue to experience. I mean, uh, what are you doing to be able to educate or to enlighten the community? I mean, one, you're through music, but is there anything else that you're through involved in the community?
When I'm asked, usually in the winter months, to come to charity events, that's when I do that kind of work. And I try not to post it because I don't do that type of stuff for applause.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. No. 100%.
that's the kind of stuff that people will remember when I'm gone. Like he didn't have to
Mm,
do that, or he didn't have to be there, and he was there, and um but that's the way I do it. And again, like when people like Chuck D call you to do a project that's gonna shine the light on injustices, you show up,
that's right.
and you leave that body of work there forever,
Mm,
and I'm proud of that. I mean, I'm a man of the people, not a man of the fame. And no one could ever say like, okay, yeah, he's too big to reach,
mm,
or I tried tapping in with him and not even an assistant got back to me. I'm not that guy, never been that guy. Um, and so that's really what it is that I do. Like I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you all the functions that I attend because again, I don't do that for applause. But yeah, trust and believe that the
yes.
day I transfer my energy to the great mystery beyond, that'll be some of the conversations that take place.
Man. Uh, Thank you for sharing that, man. And I'm vibing off of that, and I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying because we want to pay it forward, and we don't do it for the acknowledgement. We do it because we want to make an impact. I've told people this time around. I call it the point where I saw the in 2008, 2009 when I lost everything. There was pre 2008 Mauricio Mejia, and then there's post 2008 Mauricio Mejia. And pre 2008, I was about trying to like absorb, gimme, and because I had become what I was a part of. And once I stripped myself away from all of that, I learned that it wasn't about me anymore. It was about what I can give out, what I can do for others, how I can make a bigger impact, not only in my community but in the world. And that's the inspiration, and it has been part of why I created Mauricio Mejia Live. And this was created during the lockdown, the serious lockdown. I mean, now
Sure.
we this is where I was like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do at the house? I mean, I'm not throwing any more parties. I'm not going out doing social events. I'm not out in the world. How do I continue to make an impact? And Mauricio Mejia Live was born through all the different inspirations.
We're very similar in
Yeah,
that in many regards, but I too started a podcast, the Havana Lounge podcast,
I saw that.
on every Thursday at 7 p.m. people on
Ah,
YouTube and Twitch. So that's a cheap plug there. It's a
no,
cheap
no, no,
plug,
please, please, no, please.
but yeah, no, I'm I'm
I'd love to be
I'm
a
cut
guest on your.
out of that. Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And the further along we get, I mean, we're only 2 shows in. Tomorrow will be our third show with Rodney O as the
Nice,
guest, and
nice.
but so we're growing,
Yes.
and I'd like to grow the platform more before I even bring you on there. You know what I mean? Like, um,
Hey man, I
so
don't mind. I don't mind being a part of the grassroots, my brother. I want to be able to be that's where I love to be the most is when it's in the starting in the infancy, because we get to say, you know, hey, we were a part of that, and then the legacy comes with it, man. I'm not, you know, for me it's I'm this today is going to go down in history. When we're both gone to the next level in our energy in the world, this will still be behind, and we don't know who we're gonna make an impact on. So this is the
the man
motivation.
said, "I'm
Yeah,
down. God damn it, put me in, coach." The man said, "I'm focused,
I'm
locked in,
in.
rejuvenated. Let's get it."
That's right.
I like it.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much, man. I wasn't expecting this, and I really do appreciate the fact that you open up, and I'm looking forward really to further our this as the beginning of a not only as you being a guest on the show, but I'm looking forward to meeting formally now meeting in person and creating a friendship here and developing somehow some way where we can utilize our networks, and how I can also bring back and help with your projects, because you got a lot of stuff that gets me excited, man. I'm just like, man, I want to be a part of it. I'm like a deal junkie. I want to be a part of all of it because it just excites me, because I want to be that. I want to be a part of it just because I want to continue to push that energy out, that positive
Sure.
energy, because
Thank you.
we got enough fucking drama and negativity out there. We got to be able
Gas
to,
prices are almost $5. Yeah.
you know,
No, I get it.
they've been talking about it. I haven't had to fill up my gas tank yet, but I'm gonna roll to the gas station, and I'm gonna check this out. I'm driving down to Los Angeles this weekend for the day. I'm
Yeah,
going.
we got to link up, man. Don't front. You know.
No, for sure. I got your number, and on my trip down, it's business and it's actually strictly 100% business. We're leaving at 5 in the morning, being there at the grand opening at 11 o'clock. After all the hoorah is done, a little quick mingle, and back on the road, back to the Bay, because we got
Yeah,
business to handle this weekend. So,
most def.
uh, man, it's been an honor to have you here this evening. I'm not cutting you off, Abe. We could go for another hour, my brother. But I want to save some time for us when I come down this weekend and we
And if
connect,
you
man.
play golf, bring your golf clubs.
Oh, they're in my trunk, brother. I don't
And you're a good
I,
golfer. Any good golfer keeps them in the trunk at all times, man.
hey,
Absolutely. Same
I,
here
I,
in this car.
I, I keep a change of clothes in my golf clubs, because if anybody says, "Hey, you want to golf?" Hey, you don't got to ask me twice, man. I'm
Maybe
in.
we can catch a twilight after the event.
Hey, sounds good to me, my brother. I'd love to.
Right
So,
on.
with that said, Mello, I please be safe out there, man. I hope that the power is back up. I want to thank you very much for being here and sharing this moment with all of us. I appreciate you, man, and I look forward to catching up in person. And
Righteous.
before we sign off here, any last words, man? Words of wisdom, inspiration for the world to hear from you.
Well, I mean, a couple things. Number one, tune into my show tomorrow. Uh, YouTube/Mellow Man HTV, 7 p.m. PST. That's 10 p.m. East Coast time. So check it out. It's called Havana Lounge, and my guest will be Rodney O. Number two, the great Curtis Mayfield once said, "Your dream is your only scheme.
Mm,
So move on up." And those are words to live by, and I do, because I hold my dream, and Capitol Records couldn't tell me what that dream was. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? So after I left them, they're no longer even a record company. But yet here I am on your show telling my story. So
yes.
it's been my dream all the time. And how it ends will be completely up to me. And just like you and your viewers,
Yes.
do your thing, live your dream, and write the ending of your own book.
Mm. On the ending of mine, it says to be continued, my brother. So you're definitely gonna be a part of the next chapter or the next book, man. So
So
Melomenes, thank you very much for this time, for your time. I appreciate it. You taking time out of your schedule, my brother. Thank you.
I'll see
It's
you
been
this weekend, brother.
it's been an honor. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank you. I
evening.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you. All right. Peace. Wow. Whew. Man, what an honor to have such a great talent and great human being. Completely just blown away, and just to think, I wasn't expecting this at all. And I just don't know what to expect every week as I bring on these great guests. And tonight, Mellow Mayonnaise, thank you very much for sharing your story. I know that we could have gone deeper because I mean, it's just there's just not enough time to relive all the things that we relive. But thank you very much for highlighting those things and sharing them with the world tonight. I want to thank everyone that tuned in tonight. A few people that jumped on here. Always my mom, my number one fan, up here saying what's up. I love you too, Mom. Dre Gomez in here. My boy Ruben Guerrero jumping on. We got Alex Mejia that was on earlier. Henry Chu, what's up, my brother? Thank you so much. Man, there's just I get bombarded here. Anyways, man, Ruben Holmes, I think that's you on here. I see the abbreviation, my brother. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support and all the massive feedback that I get, man. Thank you. Without you guys, this show would not be possible, man. I do it because I want to share the experience of not only myself but of others from all different walks of life, and I'm looking forward to continuing this. Next week, I have the honor for Cinco de Mayo. Yes, out of all celebrations or all holidays, it's actually not even a holiday, man. Corona made that holiday. Cinco de Mayo next Wednesday. I'm going to have the honor of bringing the founder, CEO, Gilbert Chavez of Street Low Magazine. And that's going to be an exciting conversation to have. Gilbert Chavez from Street Low Magazine next week. Again, just man, the show just gets better and better and better all the time, man. So I'm again very excited to be able to share just this great platform with the world. So thank you again, everyone. Mauricio Mejia live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and you can look me up at Mauricio Mejia on my Instagram, Mauricio Mejia on Facebook, or you can just Google Mauricio Mejia. And you'll find me. I am global. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank again, Mellow Mayonnaise, for being my special guest. And again, I'm looking forward to next Wednesday. Gilbert Chavez, Street Low Magazine, and we're doing it like this. So again, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Good night. Be safe, and make sure to wear your mask. Or if you don't, at least do some social distancing, guys. We need to get through this shit so that we can have our major re-grand opening of California on June 15th. So again, thank you, everyone, for participating and being here with me tonight.